So first I'm going to suggest some ideas of making hides completely free. So first of all, if you have something that you've had food in, you've emptied it, you cleaned it out, you just cut a hole in it for the entrance. I would say put some tape around it because the plastic can be sharp, so do that so it smooths it off. That can be a great hide for like a baby gecko in the corner of their tank. Another one is the box that crickets come in and mealworms. Simply, I've always actually done this for Gizmo Mini. Cut a hole in the front, tape around it so it's not sharp, so tape around it like this. And this is actually an excellent shedding hide. I'll put a link to Ziggy's video. When I first got him and he was like 3 weeks old, it was all quite sudden, so I didn't have any hides for him. So I made one out of this and a plant pot, and then I got like a little milk lid as the water bowl. Of course there are many other things you can make hides out of. I've actually seen people do it with Lego bricks. Another thing I would suggest is using resin hides. The reason being is they're so much easier to clean and disinfect when it comes to cleaning out your gecko, whereas if you use something wooden, like a wooden hide, they're normally classed as like natural wooden hides. The only problem is when they get damp and you really clean them, if they don't dry out properly, they actually can grow blue mould on them. I didn't notice it till I just turned over Minnie's hide once and it just all appeared, so I literally had to throw it out and get her a new hide. But yeah, wooden hides are a bit annoying, whereas resin hides, they're expensive, but there's loads out there. This one, if you follow me on Instagram, I don't know what's a good angle for this, but you may have seen a photo of this. I actually got this one and another hide, which I haven't actually disinfected yet, but I'll put a picture up somewhere. I've got both those two. I paid about £6 delivery and £6 something for them, so just over 12 quid I think, for 2 hides. And this is a big hide, like this is going in Diego's tank and it's big enough definitely for him, and a little decor around the top. So that's another thing I'll get onto in a minute, used hides. But firstly, resin hides. There's a whole range. Usually for brand new you're looking at somewhere between 15 and 20 quid, so they're not cheap. They last ages though, and they're really easy to clean with disinfectant. But don't just be limited to the reptile hides. There's actually really good fish hides, aquarium hides. The hide I have for Minnie, which I'll put a picture up as well because I don't want to disturb her right now, but that was like a fish egg laying hide or something like that, and it was £10, and it's certainly big enough for her, and it's actually really awesome. So it's sometimes cheaper, and there's actually quite a lot of variety. Now, when choosing aquarium hides, make sure they are actually big enough for reptiles. Some advertise as aquarium or reptile hides, but some it's best to like ask for the measurements on the inside, because you can create your whole theme of your vivarium if you like. You can have like an Egyptian theme. I think I put that on Instagram as well, but I'll try to put some pictures somewhere. If you like SpongeBob SquarePants, I think it is, there's like stuff you can buy for fish that you can use for your lizard. As I said though, make sure it's big enough. I found this video once. This person had made just an enclosure for their frogs. Now obviously you don't need the water or the fog and all that for leopard geckos, but I'm going to put the link in the description below because I just think it's such an amazing enclosure, and it just shows you like if you grasp their natural habitat and try to make it as if you wanted a really natural theme, just the amazing things you can make. It's probably expensive, but yeah, check out the link below in the description because the enclosure is just so amazing. As I mentioned before, this is a used hide, and if you're going to buy used hides, they're usually cheaper. Just make sure that you have a good disinfectant. Only use like a reptile one. Don't just go and use like human disinfectant. Some things not to do. Do not buy a hide that is sort of like a chalk or a wood, like a really completely natural hide. Reason is, when you have, especially when you have little geckos and they need smaller food, they hide in these hides. Your gecko doesn't get any food and all the crickets get away and they just fill up in this hide, and it's horrible. They are the biggest pain. Oh my god. I had one, I think I used it on Diego when he was little, and you'd think, oh, he's eating all the crickets, and then you realise they hide all in the little holes, so just an irritating hide, don't go there. Secondly, don't buy a hide that, instead of having like a lid that comes off, that is just like all one thing, top and bottom, fused together with a little hole. Reason is, firstly, if it's on the heat side, and this was like all resin, you probably wouldn't get enough heat up for your leopard gecko. Secondly, I always think in the case of emergency, if they're ill or something and they're in a hide that's completely fused together with just a little hole, you're going to have to try to get this gecko out of it, and it would be horrible. So if you are looking for like aquarium hides and that's the deal, there's like a floor and the top all connected, don't go for that. Okay, so this is basically it. This hide is actually massive, isn't it? Like when you actually put it in here, it's massive, and to pay about about £6 for it if you include the postage, it's actually brilliant, because he'll probably sit on top of that as well. You may have seen me, I moved the heat mat over a bit because I realised this has to go in a bit diagonally, so I want to make sure he has all the heat. I've put his artificial flower here so it sort of balances out, and his cold hide over here, which actually he rarely goes in, but he sometimes digs from inside of it, but he doesn't really stay there too much. And I've put his water bowl here so it's not on the heat mat, but it just sort of curves around here. I'll give him some fresh water in a minute because I did accidentally get some eco earth in there, but let's see how he goes. Here you go, Diego. Like straight away you can tell he knows that isn't his thing. Very typical for a male is to really put their tail around and spread it on stuff, and that's just marking their territory. But it's good he's wary, because in the wild obviously they wouldn't just go walking into any other hide because it could be a predator in there. So, but yeah, this has been my video on some hides and some suggestions and tips. I hope it's helped. I hope you like my bargaining, and look out on eBay and stuff, because there are some, if it's second hand, it's not always bad, and I think he quite likes it. So thank you for watching. Check out my other videos and subscribe if you like.